You can see us, you can hear us, all that good stuff, and we will get started. We're gonna watch the chat. Let's see here. I'm gonna put that. We're gonna do. Let's see here.
I'm not showing live. Are we showing live?
It is. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Anybody see us? Anybody hear us? I hate starting like that.
I do too.
Yeah, I'm not pulling up anything for us here.
I'll give it a minute. Maybe it won't go until 7:30. Who knows? Go until 7:30. Who knows? Whoa, whoa.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Whoa, whoa.
We are live. What's up, everybody? Can you hear us is the question.
That's the important part.
Can you see us? Can you hear us? Anybody, somebody?
Oh, yeah. We're trying to... All right, so Centurion says yes. Loud and clear. Perfect. So we are... we're doing this as best we can.
Power has been in and out for the last few hours, so we are on battery backup right now, and the internet is still...
I have lights back here on batteries. I have them on the what is the Jackery, and then the cats. So not the meow meow, but the jump boxes. So that way we have some background light. We have some light. It does help that we have all of these battery backups and all these things, so we can run it off of that. But we wanted to make sure we did a live stream. The power's been in and out. It's been on, been off, but we've had power for a bit, so hopefully it stays. We have no internet, so we are using these
live. You're going to see a little bit of that tonight. We are not going to be...
Yeah, it might drop. If it drops a little bit, it'll drop a little bit. That's just where we're at. We are doing my best. So we just wanted to hop on. If we drop, it'll let us know. We'll kind of be quiet, and then when it picks back up, we'll keep going. How's this doing?
It's spotty. We're not going to do this long tonight, guys. We just wanted to get on and just update everybody.
We were hopeful that everything would be working properly and we could do a proper show. But let's get into it. Let's go ahead and start talking about what we're going to talk about today.
So we're still in the aftermath of the hurricane that came through. I jumped on last week and kind of updated everybody as to how we were doing. That we had made it through okay. We've had a lot of people just kind of asking, you know, if we were doing okay. We're doing fine. Obviously, we're dealing with a lot of the frustrations of being in the aftermath of the apocalypse here. Like I said, is spotty. Cell service, cell data signal, everything like
non-existent.
that. Non-existent. No internet. So it is going to lock up a little bit tonight. This is literally the best that we can get, but we did at least want to jump on and touch base with everybody. And just kind of, you know, Monday nights are important to us. Hopefully it's important to some of you guys as well. So we just wanted to pop on. But yeah, we're doing well. We've had a lot of people reach out and ask if we need anything. We're golden. You know what I'm saying? So we are still doing well. We're obviously not in our studio.
Yeah, we're doing it from the kitchen table right now. So, because I have the Starlink outside the window, and hopefully it's close enough to where we can actually sort of get a signal to.
And that glass is going to cause a little bit of.
So, but let's we're suffering. We're okay.
It's fine. So
we want to get into it.
Yeah, and for those of you who are in North Carolina and Florida, I hope everybody's doing well.
Yep, it's there's a lot of devastation up there. We got lucky. We didn't have tons of devastation here at our place. We were just out of power and everything for a long time. But a lot of people are gone. They're still missing. A lot of people have been just terribly affected by this. And now we've got another one headed into Florida right now. So it's like the hits just keep coming on everybody. So I'm glad to hear that all of you that made it through are okay and made it through. But there is still a long way to go for a lot of people who are affected by this storm.
So what we wanted to talk about tonight, as long as we're able to talk tonight, is what is this going to do? Obviously, this has changed the landscape of the Southern Appalachian region. Thank you for that, Alan. We appreciate it. Thank you. It has changed the landscape of the Southern Appalachian region. What effect does it can have on the weird stuff that Jesse and I like to look into, and you guys like to watch us look into?
And you got to think about this from different, perspectives. This is going to change the physical landscape. How is this going to flush physical cryptids out? You have to think about that. You also have to think about the total just expulsion of energy that has happened.
Well, that's, again, I don't think a lot of this stuff's, if it is physical, it's not here all the time. I always sound like a broken record talking about that. I think it comes in and out of like another reality, another dimension, another someone else. And you're right, that expenditure of energy is like the thing that really is, it's got my interest piqued as to how it's going to affect it. And then, not to be ghoulish, but, there has been a human toll that this has taken as well. And that's going to be something that we need to take into account as we do this. There are certain areas where we're not going to go to and try to investigate paranormal or cryptid activity right now, because we don't need to be in the way. We don't need to be there. I mean, everything there needs to just be focused on those people and their recovery. So some of the areas that had the greatest expenditure of energy are going to be off limits to us, self-imposed off limits, just because that's the right thing to do right now. But some of the other areas that we go to that don't have a population there did have all of the energy of the storm go over and through it at that point. We went out kind of scouting this past week, and the landscape changes that the storm brought on are going to be something we have to kind of contend with.
Yeah.
It's
a lot of the places we go into, we are having to take the chainsaw with us. Places like our North Georgia research area, the Dark Corner, places like that. We go to very remote areas, so we're having to take the chainsaw with us. There's certain areas that we're just not going to be able to access at all. And some areas have, because of the flooding. So what is that going to change with us being able to access these areas, or the animals or creatures that are living in these areas? How is that going to?
Well, the big thing too is are we going to be able to get in those areas with chainsaws at this point? One of the areas we tried to go to when we were scouting out this weekend is, people are saying they're getting ads right now too. There's really nothing to.
There's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah, it's YouTube is taking the reins out of it. There's got to be a way to like disengage them just on the phone. I don't know how it is, so I apologize. Hopefully, there's not going to be a ton of them. But right now, YouTube is really kind of ramping up what they YouTube and what YouTube does there. But
so I'm gonna look at the chat too while we're doing this.
So we've got to look too, and some of the areas that we've gone to in the past may not be accessible for a while. A lot of these roads were never really maintained as it was. They were old forestry roads. They were logging roads that were barely passable. And in the best of times, they were barely passable. And we have to do some clearing generally when we're out. Anyway, if we get into some of these areas, we might have to figure out different ways to get into. We might have to only access them on foot. Generally we drive in and then stage our stuff and then go in on foot. Well, we might have an extra 3-5 miles or something like that we have to actually take into account as far as hiking in now.
LW Marshall says activity will probably increase. I don't think weather affects it.
See, I don't know. I think that there's some sort of connection between activity and then what we would just call energy. I don't know. I know that after Katrina hit, paranormal activity went off like the hook. It was like crazy. You know what I'm saying? It was absolutely insane. Whether that's from the human portion of it, whether that's just from the energy expended down there, I don't know. But We're interested to see how this goes, but again, the thing that we got to take into account is the people element's going to be ramped up. You know what I'm saying? Some of these areas are going to be, when I say lawless, it's not like there's like an official presence there anyway, but some of these areas are going to be a little sketchy to get into now at this point. So we're going to have to take that into effect. Basically, we're going to have to relearn a lot of areas that we've been going for years now at this point.
And then also take into effect, like you said, the people element of it, that, you've got people who are already marginalized, on the edge, on the fringe, and they're probably more desperate now. So you don't know what that's going to do to the populations of people that live near these areas that are already kind of on the fringe and sketchy to begin with.
Well, the other thing too that you've got to take into account is the fact that we always talk about sometimes these things are affected by the amount of human presence that's in the area. Okay. There's a reason why most of this stuff happens in fairly secluded areas.
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes it doesn't mind a small audience, but if you have, there's nobody out, you know what I'm saying? I mean, a lot of these mountain roads, nobody is going on at all. Even the paved roads that you take to get to these old, gravel roads, old forestry roads, there's just nobody there. Guys, tell me how that works, how that sounds.
See if you can hear us.
See if you can hear us.
We're trying. We're doing our best.
Better?
Audio out.
Audio.
Good.
All
Okay.
right, we're just going to sound a little tinny from the phone.
We're abandoning things.
It's been a struggle today, y'all, trying to get onto this. It has been literally, I mean, I was at work. Jesse's like calling me, just going, power's out again. So once we got that, we got the battery set up to do it.
And I'm in the midst of still trying to get that video done. I mean, we were out of power, internet, so I've not been able to get that video done. Hopefully I'll have it done in order to release it on Friday, because I've been wanting to release that video for you guys. We got that crazy thermal hit, and I want to share that so bad. And it's been in and out. It's been in and out. And this is our life's work. This is our passion. And we want to talk about this stuff. We want to share this with you guys. And it was connecting our life. Look at that.
Yeah, look at that.
Look at that. It was connecting our life. Look at that.
Yeah, look at that.
Look at that. Yeah. We, gosh. We're able to go much longer because this is just going to keep going.
Yeah.
This is going to keep happening. We're going to save this topic because I have a lot to say about this topic for when we have internet, and we have a connection.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot to talk about when it comes to the subject. We are going out to the subject. We are going out into the woods. It's pixel.
We were out doing some tests this weekend, and we have a better. We pick up a better signal when we're in the middle of nowhere than we are do here in a town at this point. So, so kind of keep your stuff on. This is a good thing. Real quick, let's talk about this. EDP says, has anybody gone back and watched the video with the mega power drain to see if it still acts up on replay? Like if it does the weird looping things that a lot of us experience. I don't know. Has anybody gone back and watched that?
That is a good question.
We have not had a chance to go to watch it, just because we haven't had the ability to watch it up until tonight. Trying this, I'm saying, trying to run this, and as you can tell, even with this, we don't have the best internet. But I don't know. Some of the stuff that people were telling us that they were experiencing, clocks starting back up that had previously been broken, multiple streaming devices.
The looping, all of that stuff.
Yeah, all that stuff looping up. I don't know if anybody has seen that on the replay. Let us know. But This is gonna be, it's gonna be a challenge for the next, I don't know how long. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have to relearn and rediscover new routes into some of these research areas. We're going to have to, um, some of these areas may not be accessible anymore. You know what I'm saying? We're curious as to where we got in and we found that small archway and found those little
If that archway is even there.
If that's even there
It was
anymore.
next to
Yeah.
a creek, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of that is probably washed away. There was such a deluge of water off of those mountains that there's no telling what is there, what survived. Thank goodness we got some video evidence of what we got when we were out there, because none of that may exist anymore.
Yeah.
And we actually discovered some other stuff in that area that we're going to hopefully share with you guys, that hopefully is still there too, because there's more to that area than what we showed you in that video for the Cherokee Little People. There's much more to it, and hopefully that stuff is still there as well. We're gonna try to get back into that area as soon as possible, and you know, see if it's all right, see if that stuff survived, or see if anything's changed, see if there's something new, and we're just gonna see what happens. So
Yeah, and we're gonna, and it's gonna change our loadout as well. It's gonna have to change. We're gonna have to go in. We've had a problem in the past with trees coming down when we're actually in areas that have.
crazy backyard chicken man, I'm from the government, I'm here to help. That's the words you don't want to hear.
But we have had trees come down in the past when we're in an area, and we've had to cut them up and move them to get out. That's happened more often than not at this point. It's happened after some bad storms up there, but now a lot of the stuff's going to be hanging on by a thread.
Yeah.
So when we go up in, we are going to have to take extra food. We're going to have to take all sorts of stuff. So in case we get stuck up there for like a couple of days, that's going to be another thing that we actually have to like look into. If there are cryptids there, will they be gone? Will they be more irritable? I don't know. That's the thing, is we're kind of pretty much going into. I'm going to base this on what I experienced in New Orleans in like the months and year or so. Weird stuff abounded. Weird stuff was off the chain at that point. There was so much weird stuff going on. I mean, it was in a town like New Orleans where there's weird stuff anyway. That's always weird stuff that was happening. Hauntings were on the rise, and people were seeing weird stuff.
It's just wild. It's like it stirs everything up in a way. And you know, when you have geological events, that stirs things up. When people are, they live in a house that seems like it's fine and normal, then they start renovating, and then hauntings kick up. It's the same kind of concept when the land starts to move. And you know, we do everything outdoors. We do outdoors, paranormal, everything. And so the same kind of concepts that apply to haunted houses and that kind of concept, it applies to being outside too, I think.
So it's going to be, it's going to be a little bit more fraught with danger than it has been in the past with some stuff. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's going to be, I don't know. Like I said, we're literally going to have to start going in, scouting on foot, marking passages on maps where we think we can get in at, where we think we can't get in at, trying to just basically relearn a lot of these areas. And then once we get in there, see how the activity that we've experienced has changed.
Yeah.
It might be ramped up. It might be gone in some areas.
And we're going to try to document as much of this as possible as well. You know, we carry our cameras everywhere when we go out there. I'm curious to see how our areas that we've been investigating for years, how they've changed, what kind of, you know, just major land changes have occurred, and if we're even able to get in there.
Yeah, and see what, and like I said, see what's happened with it. See what the changes in the landscape, if there's changes in like the out of the ordinary like activity that has happened at this point. I don't know, man. I don't know. This has been
somebody mentioned earlier about if some of these creatures are dimensional, if they know when this is coming, could they just be like, all right, peace out?
I mean, animals know when anomalous weather events are coming, you know what I'm saying? And some animals act odd before an earthquake hits an area. and odd before different things come, events come. They seem to have some sort of, and people will say generated by them. It's this or it's that, but to see what these other things that aren't quite as natural, to see what they actually, what sort of effect it has on them, I don't know.
Walter Ballard said you might consider a drone for scouting. I know you're not a fan. We have a drone. I can't use any of the footage that I get off of my drone because I don't have a FAA 107 license yet. But we could use that to do some scouting in some areas. But again, like the battery issue is that you're going to run out of battery a lot quicker than you can actually do a real effective scouting mission with a commercially available drone.
And then also too, it's going to see not all things are created equal. Some of these things is going to be an uptick in the negative type stuff that's going on. You know what I'm saying? Is everything going to be just like equally done? I mean, this storm had negative consequences.
For sure.
What I'm saying? This norm carried. I know it's nature maybe at work, but are you going to see an uptick in like negative energy after this? You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, like I said, literally.
Are you going to see an uptick in aggression because perhaps food sources become scarce?
If they need food sources, here's the other thing too. Are they going to be emboldened because there's a lack of people in some of these areas?
That's true.
We've always said the more people you have, the less activity you seem to have.
Yeah.
Now that some people are out of these areas or people aren't going into these areas, even as few as they were in some of these spots, now that they're gone, is that going to uptick activity at this point? I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's going to be interesting to hear what people who are in the affected areas, especially those of you who are in the affected areas, what you got. Why don't you kind of wrap us up here?
Yeah,
so we
got disconnected. Sorry. We were okay there for a minute. We're actually going to go more in depth on this when we actually have a stable internet connection, because this is a huge topic. This is something we could talk about forever. We could talk about the spiritualism movement after World War I. This is something that has happened multiple times where there is a cataclysm of some sort, and that's paranormal activity that has happened on multiple occasions. It stirred up interest in paranormal activity. So there's a lot talked about when it comes to this, and maybe we'll have more data when it comes down to us having that conversation on a stable internet connection. We'll have more data because we'll be out in the woods. We're going to be going out. I think we're ready to start. We need to get out of here. So we went out and did some scouting over the past few days, and we'll be going out going forward, and we'll be filming this as we go. So we're going to see what changes with all this and what new discoveries we can make when it comes to the changes caused by this huge, just catastrophic storm.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, we're going to be wrapping it up here. Sorry for the short one tonight, but we are going to...
People are asking us questions about stuff. We can kind
of hit some of these real quick before we dive back down again real quick. Scroll down a little bit. Here, I'll get it here.
What are you looking for?
Forrest had said, I want your thoughts. I believe it's in the best interest to call out or expose the hoaxers, fakers, liars in this community. Do you all agree? You two work hard and remain honest. Thoughts on hoaxers?
That's
it's...
How much time do you have? There's a lot you can do.
There's not a lot you can do. Let me kind of tell you my take on it here real quick. A lot of times this community becomes a circular firing squad. Everybody's accusing the other one of hoaxing. There are people that accuse us of hoaxing. There are people that accuse pretty much anybody and everybody who's involved with this. Everybody from Todd Standing on one end all the way up to that we know is like honest as the day is long, like Alexander Petikoff. Everybody gets accused at some point of being just a fraud, just something like that. That happens all the time. So I guess what you have to look at is that somebody that you may think, I mean, you just said we were honest, and I appreciate that, and we've always tried to approach this in an honest way, even if it wasn't popular sometimes. But
not popular at all sometimes.
yeah, but the same token is that not everyone has a universally accepted idea of who is hoaxing and who is not.
Yeah. So.
I mean, trust me, she and I were talking about some stuff just yesterday. I'm saying that, it's frustrating sometimes. We were out this weekend literally with paper maps and GPSs trying to navigate routes into areas that we used to previously investigate at that point. And it was very difficult going. It was hot as all get out. It's really unseasonably warm here right now because of all the water that came through here. The insects are insane, and the Joro spiders are even more insane.
Yes.
Those giant Chinese spiders that are invading the south right now are nuts, man. They're everywhere. And it gets a little frustrating sometimes because we know that when we're doing this and we're going through the
misery.
The misery, the misery and the expense of trying to do that.
It would be a lot easier to just go on a show and tell a fake story and then
which
have
is
a normal life.
Which we all know happens. You know what I'm saying? We all know happens at that truth. You know what I'm saying?
So try to stay out of it.
Yeah, and here's the other thing too. So for you or anybody else, you can spend all of your time trying to convince someone that a public figure in this field is fake and they're hoaxing and everything like that. You can spend all your time and your energy and your effort doing that, and then guess what? Another one's just going to pop up after it.
Yeah.
And I know he said that when it's obvious, I mean, we've all got obvious people, but...
So I think it's more important to kind of focus on what you do and focus on you being honest and focus on what your integrity, and just kind of ignore everybody else at this point.
People hoax for one of a couple of reasons, okay? And a lot of times it's not monetarily based. A lot of times they're just doing it for attention. And I think that if everybody just collectively looked at people and just went, I'm not giving this guy any attention, we know it's all BS saying. Because there's been things out there that I know beyond a shadow of a doubt are fake, but I watch people in their multitudes kind of do it. So my thing is just support the people that you know are honest and true and really kind of just, are approaching this in the right way. And then the people who are not doing that, when they don't get that attention, they'll wither on the vine.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Hawk.
Yep. So we're going to go to Hawk now. Thank you for that, Hawk. Joe, I found something interesting, a study from the 70s about meditation. I don't know much about that, but the person was speaking to something, and this something was answering questions. Some questions about Bigfoot and werewolves.
You were probably talking about the law of one making the rounds right now, and that would actually be a good topic for a show.
That would be a great topic for
the
a
law
show.
of one was from a channeled being that was supposedly a non-human intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
And
contact modalities, perhaps?
Yeah, and when they were talking to this thing, it was telling them basically where Bigfoot came from.
Yeah.
Which was off planet. It's a whole crazy wild ride. And if that's what you're talking about, I think that's what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what you're talking about is that law of one Bigfoot thing, which has been kind of making the rounds at that point. So I don't know enough about it other than what I just basically said here. I need to look into it a little bit more. If you know anything about it, man, shoot me a message. We're able to check our messages in
bits and pieces.
Yeah, in bits and pieces. So. All right,
I'm just scrolling through the chat. We're doing this from my phone because nothing else works.
Nothing else works. So, Lady Wolf, axe somebody?
I don't know. Sorry, I'm going too fast.
But the law of one would actually be a pretty good thing. It's parts of it sound pretty wild, but it's really taken seriously in some circles. So
it is. It's frustrating.
Yeah, we're back live. So.
Yeah. We're going to have to wrap it up because it's going to keep dropping, but we really wanted to just come on here.